Well, people, it is finally here. I am talking about the Scargiver. Yeah, Rebel Moon Part 2 has dropped, right? Like the first, directed by Zack Snyder, who co-wrote it with Shay Hatten and Kurt Johnstad, his, you know what I mean? Erstwhile collaborators. From a story conceived by Snyder. The film, as the first, is produced by Snyder, his wife Deborah Snyder, Eric Newman. It's executive produced by Sarah Bowen, Shay Hatten, Kirk Johnstad, and Bergen Swanson, with co-production from Misha Bokowski. Tom Holkenborg did his thing with the music. Snyder also handles the cinematography. Yep. Dottie Dawn edits the piece. Kirsty Colston took care of the casting. Stephen Deschamps and Stephen Swain were production design. Art direction, we got Jennifer Bash, Virginia Berg, Kevin Ishuka, Julian Pognia, Eric Sundal, and Brett McKenzie. Claudia Bonfi was set decoration, and Stephanie Portnoy Porter, costume design. All right, hair, makeup, prosthetics, special effects, all of that jazz. We got Danny Wagner, Megan Riley, Marissa Pinsuelas, Jason Chandler Pettus, Michelle Nairi, Vada Michelete, Corny Micah, Rory Gordio, Robin Fuqua, Christopher Onlo, Annie Cardia, Jennifer Cabazas, Julian Bonfigilo, and Aurora Berger. All right, so now the cast, right? Obviously, right? You've got the cats from the first film that survived, right? All of them people's back, right? So Sofia Boutella is Kora. Kai, we got Charlie Human. Jimmy, Anthony Hopkins voices our robot Jimmy. Atticus Noble is played by Ed Skrein. Her mother is Jenna Malone. The King, right, played by Carrie Ells. We got those flashbacks. Gunnar, it's Michael Husman. Digimon Honzu is Titus. Den is played by Stuart Martin. Corey Stoll plays Sindri. Tarek is played by Stas Nar. Nemesis is Bay Duna. Cleopatra Coleman is Devra. And Balizaris is Frey Fee. Right? Sam, played by Charlotte Maggie. Ellis Duff is Myas Cassius. Got Alfonso Herrera. Princess Isa, right? That is the daughter of Carrie Ells the King, right? She is played by Stella Grace Fitzgerald. Gosh. Edda, played by Kingston Foster. Oh, the princess and the king. Well, the princess's mum, the king's wife, the queen, played by Ryan Ress. I mean, that's probably all our main players. Probably. I mean, it's a vast cast, right? There's a lot of people doing their thing in this, as you can expect. Right. So, yeah, we are back, right? We are back. And oh, my bad. So the gist of the story, Kora and surviving warriors prepare to defend Veldt, their new home, alongside its people against the realm. The warriors face their pasts, revealing their motivations before the realm's forces arrive to crush the growing rebellion. So that's the film, people. Now, a lot of people were like, yo, the first film is such a ripoff of Star Wars, right? But it wasn't a ripoff of Star Wars. It was just a sci-fi film full to the rafters of sci-fi tropes, which so many are, right? It's hard to find, films with completely original ideas. So the fun thing is, it's how are these stories constructed, how are they executed, what richness are they bringing to this tapestry? That's the big thing. And with the first film, right, with the child of fire, there were some interesting things there. It looked very nice, obviously, right? Zack's films do look nice. You can't deny it, right? I feel this is a thing. People want to hate on someone for whatever reason, but then they want to deny anything good that they do, which is kind of bonkers. And especially if you're reviewing, you can't review, right? If you can't be honest and be like, yo, that was done very well, then how am I trusting your opinion, motherfucker? You know what I mean? I can't, obviously. So you gotta give it to Zack, man. His visuals are very spectacular. And it's a cross between green screen and practical effects, which is, you know what I mean? Yeah, gotta like that. Gotta like that, right? So it looks good. Looks good. This film, it feels like there's more action than the first one. And the first one had plenty of action, right? So this one felt like there was maybe more. There was more, which makes sense considering how we left the last. Right now, obviously, how we left the last, right? You had to start, right? You had to start off with Atticus. I mean, that just made sense, right? So we get his I mean, it's a bit like Luke in Return of the Jedi, right? Because he's in the healing tank. Was that in the Return? I feel that was in Return, right? He's in the healing tank and all of that. I mean, we've seen similar things in Babylon 5, just name the sci-fi, right? But it answers those things. Now, I would say there's maybe more that could have been done with that, right? Because we're told, hey, he hasn't been in there for long, so it could mess up his memory, right? So there's things that we could have done with that, but it's fine. It's addressed. We know we knew he was alive at the end of the first, so it's no big spoiler talking about that right now. But we just get that little glimpse. So that's fine. That's all good. Then we get to our gang, right? Kora, Titus, and the crew. And it's like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see what's going to happen. Right. So it's setting, man, it's setting all the plans in motion, essentially. That's what we see at the start of this film, which is all fine. It's all fine. We do well, I mean, I'll say this, right? This is kind of like Snyder's Empire Strikes Back. It's kind of like that. Because there is that darker element in this film in a way, right? There is that. And there's other things which I won't say because I feel that might spoil certain aspects of the film. So we'll leave it there. But it's kind of like that. But don't get me wrong, it's not a copy of Empire in any way. I mean, there is one thing that happens to a character, which you know what I mean, does happen in it, right? But it's no copy of Empire. It's not that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying tonally, right? That this is kind of like Empire, kind of Rebel One. Was that the name of the film? Yeah, it was sort of Rebel One. I'm doubting myself. It might not have been called Rebel One. It was Rebel something. The you know, the Gareth Edwards Star Wars film, which Andor is playing off of, right? That one. It's Rebel something. I'm not sure. Fuck. My memory is a piece of shit. Anyway, I'm just going on motherfucking tangents like a fool. Anyway, people. Anyway. Yeah, no, it was a it's kind of like that, right? But yeah, it's the film obviously is not perfect. There's a lot of craziness in this film where you're just like, wait, what are we doing? So Kora only brought back a few warriors. I think there's 6 of them, right? Not really enough to go against an army. And they're like, well, we're gonna train the villagers. Now it's kind of crazy. Every villager seems to be a good shot, which I've shot a gun, which is kind of bonkers in itself. But I was okay. I hit the target a few times, which kind of surprised me because I could not see it, right? But like there were shots that I took and they were way off. They were way off. You know what I mean? So if there was a horde of people running at me, I might hit 1 in 10. If that, I'm being probably a little, you know what I mean? 1 in 10, it might be 1 in 20. But yeah, not gonna hit all of them. But these motherfuckers, they're like fire. Never lifted weapons and shit. And they're doing their thing, which is kind of crazy. Like it takes a long time to train people. It takes a long time to train people. Right? You've got that strategic dirt, which I always find. Look, Veldt is like it's kind of deserty. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dirt, but they've got like it's always a little bit of smears on the face, but the hair is usually fine. The clothes are a little bit mussy, but not really. You know. And the other thing I find kind of always interesting, everyone's like, clean shaven. Everyone's clean. And what I mean, like, yes, some people got beards, but no one's looking uncouth. No one's looking uncouth, right? Girls, armpits all clean, everything. You know what I mean? Like, no one's got body hair, all up. Like, you're just thinking, when you're busy, you're defending. Who's going to be like, oh, I need to shave my armpits. Oh, I need to. Oh, let me shave up. Let me shave up. Want to look fresh to death in the field today? No one's doing that shit. What are we saying? What are we saying? You know what I mean? It's always a crazy thing. It's just some details, man, where I watch these films and I'm just like, yo, this shit don't make no sense, right? We got bombs going off next to people. Next to people, essentially. You understand the effect, the sound waves, right? People are gonna be deaf. People are still gonna get fucked up. No. Right, you're going against people with guns and you've got an axe. That's not happening. It's not happening, right? It's very amusing because when you think about it, right? If you're trying to ambush, you wait until people are mad close and you're quiet. You don't open up like 20 yards away and then scream going, we're here, right? We ain't, all we got is like knives and shit. You've got guns, you've got ranged weapons, so now we're at perfect distance for you. How about us, right? Whose tactics are these? This is nuts. So yeah, we got some crazy things going on, right? Crazy things going on, which is odd. But like with the first one, like with Child of Fire, it's hard to fully judge this film because we know there's an extra hour, essentially, right? An extra hour of this film that we don't have right now. So the unedited versions will be dropping. I think it's dropping around August time, right? So I think that's when you get the full essence of what these films are, right? Because there's a bit towards the end where you're just like, what? Why now? Like, it feels kind of crazy now, you know what I mean? So you just think, where in at points things feel like, well, that feels like out of nowhere, or it's like you have an idea that there's probably more. There's probably build up and ground that's been laid for this thing that we're now seeing. We get this revelation, which doesn't make any sense. Does not make any motherfucking sense, right? Because it's like, and firstly, if motherfuckers got this info, surely you just say the info, you tell someone straight away, because it's kind of a cunty thing not to, right? So the fact that my man don't say shit, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, you're just like, wait, what? Why don't you tell someone? And like, how do you know? Right? Like, we see a thing, and from what we see, like, it doesn't make any, no, makes no sense. Makes no sense. So it's very odd. It's a very odd thing. Now, obviously, right? There'll probably be more. There will probably be more. Because like, I saw some talk Snyder's got. I think they started work on the third film, like, script wise. I don't think it's been greenlit yet, but a fifth film. But then I saw something like there could be 6 films in the series, which, the way things are left, yes, you feel there's definitely going to be more. We don't have a definitive ending with the Scargiver. You know what I mean? Which, you know, it's fine. Like, if they don't do any more, you know, it's kind of complete in a way, but it's just like, you know, obviously more happens, right? But you can be like, okay, it's fine. We got two, you know? So we have that, but yeah, there's things that you think with the extended version, this shit might make more sense, you know? There was a bit in Justice League, right? Dawn of Justice that infuriated me because it was just horribly done. It was horrible from my point of view. It's horribly written. It was a bit when Bruce breaks into Diana's crib and then he finds like the files on the Flash, Aquaman, and all of them ones, right? And it was just like mini trailers within the film. And you just thought, this is kind of clunky the way this is rolling out. We do get a similar scene in this. We do get a similar scene in this, right? And the thing with it, it was just like, why? Right? It didn't make any sense for me anyway. Because I'm just like, y'all already agreed to do a thing. Everything else is, you know, whatever. So, you know, bleeding hearts don't need to exist right now. Don't need to exist. It's not changing anything. If anything, it could drive a fucking wedge, right? People could get angry and be like, yo, what? Fuck you. You know what I mean? So you're just like, yo, this is kind of odd. What are we doing here? Oh, we get some odd pillow talk, like some odd pillow talk, right? After a thing, then you drop a question like that, like, what the fuck? It is one of those things like, oh yeah, but you probably should know I'm married. It was such a shitty question. This is like, what the fuck, son? You know what I mean? You're already up in her gut, so now you just feel you can say whatever. Oh boy. But with all that said, it's fun. You know what I mean? Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scargiver, was fun. There's a lot of action. You know, it doesn't, although you could be like, you know, we get all these scenes of them planting seeds and, you know, like cutting cord and all of that. Do we need all of that? Probably not, but it's fine, right? It doesn't really drag. You're kept, you know what I mean? You're kept going all the way through. So it's all right. It's all right. You know what I mean? If you really like the first one, you're gonna really like the second one. You know, if you like sci-fi, I think you'll enjoy it. Right? Just don't expect crazy things, you know. And remember, I mean, let's be honest, the original Star Wars films were okay, right? They're not lighting anything up, you know, story wise. Like Return of the Jedi was irritating. Empire was the best of the lot, right? Rebel One. Was it Rebel One? Fuck. Yeah, no, I can't get that out of my fucking mind, people. I'm just like, yo, what was that one called? I don't even know. Shit. Fuck. Anyway. Um, yeah, what was I saying? Uh shit. I have completely what's the word? Gone off track. Yeah, I've gone off track, as it were. But yeah, no, this was if you like the other films, you'll enjoy this, I believe, right? Um, okay, okay. I had to have a little Rogue One. There's no Rebel in it, it's Rogue One. Jesus. Rogue One. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. So, oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Look, the Star Wars films, Rogue One is fantastic, Empire fantastic. The other two are just fine, right? The ones that have followed, right? The prequels and the last trilogy, meh. So if you're putting, these benchmarks, these like lines of quality, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's just judge things on what they are. And, you know, this isn't copying, right? This is a new world. This is new ideas. It's just similar tropes, right? We got similar tropes. That's it. Right? If you want to talk about some of the freshest shit, you have to look at stuff like Babylon 5. You know what I mean? You have to look at stuff like that, right? For like new things, new ways of telling story. But anyway, yeah. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. It's on Netflix and it's a fun romp. It's a fun romp. So there you go, baby. Just my thoughts, right? Just my thoughts.